Happy Hump. It is Tony Kurre here from Tony Kurre Radio. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Just checking in for a few minutes here on Facebook Live as we do every single morning. Of course, you can listen to all of our stuff on Tony Kurre Radio. It is an app. It is free. It takes you 10 seconds. We got QR codes, the whole 9 yards. Download the Tony Kurre Radio app. It's Kurre with a K. And go to Spotify. I mentioned yesterday, man, it's super cool. We've been doing this thing for about 3 years. I'm trying to change the world. I got a huge vision for Tony Kurre Radio, and I realize there's been businesses in business for like 40, 50 years before they finally hit pay dirt. I wanted to give this thing 3 years to see where we're going to be at, and we're exactly where I was hoping we'd be at. And a lot of that has to do with our Spotify podcast platform. If you go to Spotify, search Tony Kurre Radio, you can see hundreds of episodes. Billy Gibbons is on, Damon Johnson's on, Austin Hanks is on, Win in Rome, Adapter Parish, Dark Side of the Pooch, Mission Minded, Live Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing. Sam Rushing, good morning. Southern Precision Staffing goes off later on tonight, 8 o'clock. We're doing all these songs that you'd like to hear in an AC/DC concert. We'll do that later on tonight. But we have bust our ass on this thing, and man, there's been some sleepless nights, some challenges, but it is starting to kick and cook, and to see those numbers, man, is just super, super exciting. So keep doing your thing. I can't do it without you. I'm nothing without you. Just like I was when I was on Rock 99, Classic Rock 99.5, Jocks. I've been all over the place. But without listeners and without you watching and listening, I can't do anything. Nothing. And you're killing it. Richard Evans, good morning and welcome back to Facebook after they kicked your ass off, dude. So I really appreciate it. And again, listen to our stuff. Just search Tony Kurre Radio and you can find all of our stuff. And our website's brand new too. Go to TonyKurreRadio.net, TonyKurreRadio.net, and all the shows are up there. And you can click on those and it'll take it back to Spotify, so it's great. Got a couple stories I want to get into real quick. 3 stories, actually. I think it's interesting. We have this thing called the Teacher of the Day that we do, Dr. Josh and I do on Thursday mornings. And it was almost a weekly occurrence where, and it was kind of funny. It's sad, but it's kind of funny. Teachers sleeping with their students. And it's funny because when guys see a story that says, teacher arrested for sleeping with student or doing something inappropriate with a student, the first thing we want to do is we want to know what she looks like. And it's always women. Always women. I haven't seen a male teacher get in trouble in any of these stories in a long period of time, but it's always a female teacher, and it's always someone who's smoking hot who's married. I'm like, what the hell? We used to have the women with the moles and the hairnets, and all the whole 9 yards, and our teachers didn't look like anything like they look now. Every teacher I had in high school was like in their 60s or 50s. And now you see all these 25, 26, 27-year-old teachers, and of course, the first thing I want to think of is, and here's a Pennsylvania teacher busted for sexual relationship with student. Look at this gal, man. That's a mug shot. She looks good in a mug shot. She didn't even have makeup on. And I'm thinking, man, what is going on with these teachers? This drives Dr. Josh crazy, by the way. He hates me when I bring these stories up. But this woman's married. She's got kids. She's smoking hot. She's a school teacher. And guess what she's doing? She got arrested for a sexual relationship with a female student. She was married. After her irate husband alerted administrators. Olivia Ortiz, 26, was taken into custody yesterday, hit with 2 counts of sexual activity with a 17-year-old student at Wilmington Area High School, in Newcastle News reports. Her husband, who did freelance work for the school's music department, found incriminating messages on Ortiz's iPad after coming home from a recent trip to Florida and told the principal. That'd be tough, dude. Could you imagine being married, you're in love, you trust her, you're all into it, you got a family, everything's good, and all of a sudden you start finding all this incriminating information. What do you do with it? He went straight to the principal, man. According to reports, she declined to immediately turn herself in and even sang at a local concert on Sunday before finally surrendering, which is really strange. Remarkably enough, Ortiz's predecessor at the school's music director, Jonathan Priano, who was 37, also faced similar charges of messing with students. So she took over for a dude who also was messing with students. In this particular case, he allegedly had an affinity for tickling the feet of co-eds and forming inappropriate close relationships with them. You can't tickle your students' feet, man. You can't do that. Could you imagine Could you imagine? I mean, I think I was at Lakota. I think my music director was gay. Because a lot of music directors seem like they are. It's not, I'm not being stereotypical, just that way. And I was in the marching band, and I cannot imagine, and I won't say his name because I'm not for sure, but I can imagine him tickling my toes. Anyway, I just think it's amazing because, you know, guys we're visual animals. And Clint Justice, good morning to you. And that's just what we do. And so the minute we hear about a teacher sleeping with a student, first of all, we go, oh, I wish I had that opportunity. I wouldn't have told anybody. Well, you have to think about how traumatizing it is, not only to the students, but also to the families of these teachers. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, what does she look like? And every time I pull up the picture, they're smoking hot. I'm like, I mean, if you got some ugly old 52-year-old woman who's preying on a poor 16 or 17-year-old who just wants to say you got a nut, you know, in high school, I kind of get that. It's not right. I get that. But you got these smoking hot women. Also today, we're finding out that Kurt Busch, in the world of NASCAR, has filed for divorce. Actually, his wife has filed for divorce. I am heartbroken to confirm that my wife Ashley and I are working to dissolve our marriage. Divorce is a personal and private matter, no doubt. And I hope our divorce will be respected. Ashley, who's a polo player, had married Bush about 5 or 6 years ago, back in 2017. She claims in court documents their marriage began to fizzle in April, accusing the 43-year-old driver of cutting her off from credit cards and their joint bank account. They did have a prenup, so it should be pretty cut and dry. But she also alleged Bush committed a torturous act. What is that? Kurt Busch, a torturous act? The only torture I ever see is when he's driving his car. A torturous act. I love to see those. You know, we see irreconcilable differences. We see abuse. We see cheating scandals. We see behavior unbeknown or unlike a married man, so we figure he probably did something wrong. Maybe he's been on some OnlyFans or whatever. But a torturous act, good almighty, that's not good. The other thing I think is pretty interesting about this story is, and having gone through a divorce, lawyers, man, lawyers, Buddy Little, good morning. Lawyers are such a pain in the ass. They're oh my gosh. If you've been through a divorce, sometimes you love your lawyer because your lawyer is actually implementing things that you don't have the chutzpah to do on your own because you don't want to start anything and you don't want to make it bigger than it already is. You're hoping you can be amicable, you can sit down and talk about things, separate things and be on your way. Tim McGee, Sr., good morning to you, and you don't have to worry about going to court. Ours didn't turn out that way, unfortunately, and we got what we thought we were going to get anyway. After going through all that and spending $25,000 on court and lawyer fees, we got exactly what we thought we were going to get in the first place, but because we were boneheads and we were angry and there was resentments and all that other crap, we couldn't let things settle out a little bit. We had kids. It was difficult. But the one thing my lawyer said is cut her off. Cut her off. And I'm like, you can't do that. I mean, I guess you could. And so Kurt is evidently cutting off his wife. And if they had a prenup, I don't know what she's going to get out of that deal. But, I mean, you want to piss off a woman, cut off her credit cards. Whew, not good. Finally, there's a story here about this woman who says that almost every single one of my boyfriends have followed these rules. She got on TikTok, and her friends are calling her a psycho bee because of these rules she has for her boyfriends. And when she says all of her boyfriends, I can certainly understand now why she's probably had so many boyfriends because of these stupid rules. But there is a couple of rules that I actually like in this rule. So she has 8 rules for every guy she dates. Number 1, you must block anyone you had a romantic interaction with. She said, obviously, people you've slept with are a major no-no, but if I found out you held some bee's hand and you're still following her, you're done. Early in a relationship, I think guys are always trying to keep all of their options open. And so we keep some things on the outside just in case the thing we're in doesn't work. And I think a lot of women probably do that too, which is totally cool. And then obviously you start dating somebody, you go out with them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, maybe a couple of months. And next thing you know, you're like, hey, listen, I'm digging this chick and I really don't have time for anyone else. And that's when you have that discussion. Hey, are we exclusive? Are we monogamous? Is that what we're doing here? So I think that's probably a good thing. But for a while, guys are going to do that anyway because they want to keep their options open. And I'm saying guys just because These are her rules, not a guy's rules. Number 2, no following new women since day we started dating. Period. That's tough because if you go out, sometimes you got to go out with someone like 3 or 4 times before you kind of realize what you got. And if you stop following women like right off the bat, she better be all that. She better have the voodoo going on. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to give her an explanation. Number 3, no searching girls' names in the handlebar. Like, what are you searching for? Number 4, no liking girls' photos. You got to get a pattern here, right? Like every guy knows girls don't like this. I will say this right now. Unless you have business or they're old friends, and yes, guys can be friends with girls and not want to sleep with them. It's not a whole When Harry Met Sally kind of situation. Now, guys normally would sleep with you anyway, but there are girls that I'm friends with that I don't want to have anything romantic with, that I'm friends with, and I've reached out to, hey, how you doing, blah, 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 blah. But then again, it is like there's a little piece of just trying to keep my option open just in case. She says, what are you searching for? Because you should be fine with me. And then the no liking girls photos, unless it's a photo of a woman with her kids or her husband, that's kind of weird. You know, we live in this social media world, and we're all trying to get this positive reinforcement of getting likes, and we like to put stuff out there. And I don't go back and look and see who liked whatever I'm posting. But women who are posting pictures of themselves, whether it's the camera up here and their boobs are hanging out, they're sitting at a traffic light, which is something that's common on, you get on Facebook and just scrolls across the top. All it is pictures up here, down their boobs at a car, you know, at a stoplight with their sunglasses on, trying to look hot. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. I'm like, whatever. Number 5, no story replying. We all know what story reply means. We don't have to talk about it. Number 6, no more than 1 girl per scroll on your Explore page. I know that your Explore page is what you click on, and you know, she says, I know how you know, because one time I asked a guy to stop, and he did. So she asked this guy to stop pulling up women on Explore page, and then she'd go back through his Explore page, and if you stop doing stuff on Explore page, then no more women will show up on your Explore page. I don't know what the hell that means. Number 7, if she posts more than 1 bikini pic in a row, you must unfollow. Okay, that's a problem. Because now I've got a couple friends of mine who are married. Jeff Ray, good morning to you. Who are married, who are on social media, and I may follow the same person. I follow a lot of people I don't even know. And so if I'll go through their profile, if they're Christian teacher, blah, 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 and they seem to be nice, they follow me, I'll follow them back. That's what you do. If you follow somebody, they usually follow you back. That's how you get followers, right? And so if there's a picture of a bikini, it shows up on my feed, I won't like it just because I know if someone sees me liking a picture of a woman in a compromising position or in a bikini, even if it's classy, then I look like a creep. Because guys who follow pictures of women on social media in their bikinis are creeps. The only reason a guy, and ladies, I'm just telling you, the only reason a guy will follow a woman or like a picture of a woman in a bikini is because he wants to take it to another step. He's keeping his options open. Oh, look, Tony followed my, look, Tony liked my picture of me in my G-string. Oh, that's nice. And like we have a shot anyway, right? So I kind of get that one. And like I said, I got a couple friends of mine who are married. They have great wives. They have families. And occasionally I'll see a picture of a woman and it'll say, liked by so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'll know these guys. And I'm like, dude, what would your wife think if she knew that you were liking a photo of another woman in a bikini? It's the same damn thing about going to the swimming pool. Imagine going to the swimming pool, you're holding your wife's hand, and you see some hot toddy in a bikini by the side of the pool, and you know her, but you really don't know her. You just know her because you see her at the pool, and you walk over to her with your wife's hand in your hand. You go, hey, by the way, you are looking swell today. That bikini is you. You're looking fantastic. You have to look at it the same way. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Telling a woman in front of your wife. Now, the last time I did that, we were in Aruba. And Aruba, most of the beaches are topless. And I was walking through and I wasn't used to being at a topless beach. You're not used to seeing that many boobs in one place. They're just everywhere. It's amazing. It's like seeing a bunch of deer. You're like, oh my gosh, look at all the deer. Oh, I always say looking at boobs and deer is the same exact thing. You never get tired of looking at them, no matter what they look like. No matter what they look like, you will look at a deer or a boob. And so I was walking on the beach and I looked at my wife, now my ex at the time, and I said, listen, I said, there's a lot of skin out here and I got my sunglasses on and I'm trying to like keep, but she's like, dude, I understand you're not used to seeing a bunch of breasts hanging out, so just try not to stare, and I didn't. And then I tried to get her to go topless, and she wouldn't do it, but she went topless on her honeymoon. Anyway, and finally, number 8, no clicking on Linktree. Do you know what Linktree is? Linktree is one of these things where I guess you can use your network of social media and have it linked together so you can send different things out, and I don't know why she wouldn't want Linktree. But that kind of side, that woman right there, if you're going to put those kind of rules on a man, you better be it. And the fact that she said all of my boyfriends, it sounds like she's been through a crap ton of boyfriends. Maybe guys just aren't. Here's the thing about this kind of thing. When you're dating somebody, we always talk about trust. If you've been to a marriage counselor, they got these little dolls, and it's like the little cup and then the bigger cup and the bigger cup and the bigger cup. And that's supposed to exemplify trust, right? So trust starts off like this. When you first meet somebody, you really don't know them, and if they do what they say they're going to do, they're on time. I'll call you Thursday. We'll look forward to seeing you. And they're not having to like cover their stories. They'll tell you something maybe, and then they'll back it up. And well, I thought you said this, blah 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 blah. So that's where trust starts, right? That's where trust starts. And so as you get to know someone a little bit better, and you get more comfortable with them, and you start sharing your thoughts and your fears and your hopes and your dreams, there's more trust there. And then you see how they support you and you support them, and that's trust, and trust builds. And then you get to the point where you like fully trust them. Like you're like, wow. And then if there's an instance where maybe they say, I'll be home by midnight, they're getting home at 3, or they said they were going to the gym, they end up going somewhere else, and you're kind of scratching your head, that kind of chinks at the trust a little bit. But you're at a good place, so you're like, all right, he's been pretty good. She's been pretty good. She's always said what she's going to do. She does what she says she's going to do. And so I'll let that one slide. And then if it happens again, then you're like, okay, wait a minute, we got a little problem. That's when it goes from here to the gut. We always talk about your gut's never wrong. That's when your gut's telling you, okay, something ain't right here. Maybe they're looking around. Maybe they're getting a little complacent. Maybe they're not into the relationship as much. Maybe you're at that 6-month point where they don't want to be with you anymore. Maybe they're ghosting you. They're trying to get rid of you, whatever it is. But that's the trust thing. So if you have these rules right off the bat, that means you're probably the hardest person in the world to trust. And I don't know about you, but when everyone puts rules on me right off the bat, like if you want to put rules on me or say, listen, I really don't, not rules, but I really don't like when you do this, or I really would appreciate you unfollowing your ex, or unfollowing a girl that you used to date, or unfollowing an Instagram model, okay? Then I look at that as like, I get that. Why should I be putting a situation, why should I put any doubt in your brain if you're the woman I want to be with? Because if you got everything I need, then I don't need to be looking anywhere else. Guys are kind of creepy this way because we're always trying to keep our options open. And I see guys who are even married or have been in long-term relationships, always trying to keep that thing up, I call them outliers. They're outliers. Just in case things don't work here, I want to make sure I have a backup plan. It's not trustworthy. Can't do it. So I kind of get it. She's obviously been burned big time, and maybe she should be burned. All right, have a great Wednesday. Don't forget Livewire Wednesday a little bit later on. Tonight, 8 o'clock, we're doing all AC/DC songs we'd like to hear in concert. I'm going to record that show a little bit later on today. We also have Mission Money with Michael Coleman. Great show. I love this because it's a great show about non-for-profits business. We're getting a ton of emails. You can go to TonyKurreRadio.net, TonyKurreRadio.net. That's Curry with a K. Tell me what you're thinking about. Tell me what you're feeling, and we'll get it on Tony Kurre Radio. It's great stuff. Jeff Ray, good morning to you, man. Thank you so much for watching this morning. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, right here, about this time, we will have Brian Christine. He's a Republican conservative running for District 15 in the state Senate. We don't do politics here because you can't win. I know we're an incredibly conservative state. I know everyone here loves Donald Trump for the most part. I know there's some Democrats somewhere. I just can't find them. But the reason I'm having Brian on is because he's been a great friend of mine for 30 years. He just decided to get into politics. He still works at Urology Centers of Alabama, which is great. But he asked me, can I come on the show? This will be unlike any interview you ever hear with a politician, because quite frankly, he knows what I'm all about. I know what he's all about. We're good friends, and it's not to say I'm going to pepper him with Roe versus Wade questions, but I am going to ask some interesting questions. And I think he's coming on Tony Kurre Radio with Dr. Josh and myself, the Curry and Claypo Show, to be more humanized as a politician. So it's going to be great. And we're going to talk regular Curry and Claypo stuff too. And if he wants to jump in, he certainly can. Maybe we'll have a teacher of the day. Who knows? That'll be happening tomorrow. You can hear it on Tony Kurre Radio, on our Tony Kurre Radio app, and also, of course, right here on Facebook. Thanks so much for listening. Have yourself a wonderful day, and happy hump.